Hey guys, Helen Hartsmith here from the Heart of the Witch's Path YouTube channel, here with another video response for the 2016 YouTube Pagan Challenge. My tablet went off so I could read the question, so let's bring that back up. We're doing week 39 in this video, and that question is, what does shadow/darkness mean to you? Well, for me, shadow, when I think of shadow, I think back to my year 3 with the Temple of Witchcraft, and that is where you dealt with shamanic content. And so during that year, I learned that shadow is kind of like a shortened version of your shadow self. And so one big topic that is covered in that year is dealing with your shadow. We all have shadow selves, and a lot of times those shadow selves represent things about us that we may not necessarily like, things that we like to hide, things that we're ashamed of, things that we don't want to deal with or haven't dealt with. And so when I think shadow, that's what I think. And then in the world that I associate that with would be the underworld. That is where the roots of the world tree grow. And so a lot of times that's thought of to be in shadow or darkness, which is like the other part of this question. As far as darkness goes, though, I'm not entirely sure where to take that. For me, I guess darkness is the polar opposite of light. So that kind of falls back to that polarity thing where you can't have the light without the dark. You can't have the positive without the negative. So it's just part of that yin yang that, you know, we wouldn't exist without. And so it's a polar opposite. So it's not, I don't think it's something to be feared. I think it's that darkness has its own lessons to teach us. I'm kind of reminded of a poem that I first heard years ago. Who is old enough to remember the television program Beauty and the Beast? I'm not talking about the one that currently airs on CW with Kristen Cruick. Not talking about that one. I'm talking about the original with Ron Perlman and Linda Hamilton. There was a soundtrack that was put out that had Ron Perlman in his Vincent makeup with the Vincent voice and such, and he was reading poetry, and there was music from the television show. And there was a poem that was called You Darkness, and I wish I would have thought about that before starting this video, because I would have had the whole thing to kind of think about. But as I'm talking, I'm thinking about that. And the poem, I believe it's by Rilke, Rilke, and it starts off as, "You darkness that I come from, I love you more than all the fires that quench out something." It's a really good poem. If I can find a link, I'll try to put it in the down bar. I think that I don't have an issue with darkness. Like I said, it has its own lessons that you can gain from experiencing it and interacting with it. And I think that's it. Let me just stop talking right now. That's it for this time. Week 39, YouTube 2016 Pagan Challenge. All right. Thanks for walking the path for a little while with me. And until next time, blessed be.